In Chapter 5 of The Truth About Food, what did you mean by nothing but the truth?
The opportunity exists for people to advance a wide variety of agendas that kind of advance personal profit or notoriety by introducing alternatives to the shared truths of healthy living. And those might be subsumed within the large truth. They might be focusing on some particular detail. So, for example, you could argue that the only right way to eat is low fat. And the reality is that within the expanse of what we know to be true, there are absolutely low fat dietary patterns. Some willfully low fat, some that just happen to be low fat. If you eat a diet mostly made up of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans, lentils, all of that is extremely low in fat. Your diet will wind up being low in fat. And that may not even be a particular focus, it's just you're eating foods that result in your diet being low in fat. So within that expanse, there are low-fat diets that are absolutely beautiful, that produce beautiful health outcomes. And that's true, but it's true that there are other diets that are higher in fat, variations on the same theme that produce all the same good health outcomes. I think it's something other than the truth to pick one small part of the truth and pretend like it's the whole thing. So we speak about the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in a court of law. I think we ought to do the same in the court of public opinion when we're talking about nutrition, lifestyle. These things are so massively important. Everybody eats every day. Everybody has lifestyle practices every day. They impact everything important about the quality, the texture of our lives. Where is it more important to speak truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So again, there's opportunity to say something that is closely related to the truth, but then to distort it just enough that it's something slightly different, and it creates opportunity to sell something, to peddle a theory. I try to avoid all of that. And in The Truth About Food, my mission really was to say, here's everything I know. Here's how I know it. Here's why this is true and this is not, and this is in between, we're not sure. And let me come completely clean. I'm a person like you. I have a wife. I have children. I have my own life. I care about all this stuff for the same reasons you do. I want to be able to leverage what I know to optimize my own life and to optimize the life of people I love, as well as patients and the public. I've got skin in the game. And so I am deeply invested in getting this right, and I've had 9 years of postgraduate education and 30 years of working in the field. So if I don't know what's what, who's going to know what's what? It's my job to know what's what. So I'm going to tell you everything I know, how and why I know it. And my hope is that that will empower you to know what's true, to know what's not, to be able to get your arms around the whole truth, and to be immunized against alternatives. So that was the mission: the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Why have the obesity rates increased in the United States so much in the last 50 years?
There's all sorts of hand-waving about obesity, and we've done so much and we haven't fixed it, and so there must be other explanations for it, right? It must be, you know, extraterrestrials who are beaming an obesity beam at us, or, you know, it's some virus we haven't discovered, or, you know, there's some cryptic, elusive, insidious cause of obesity. No, I really don't think so. I think we eat too much and exercise too little. We are naturally adapted to be fuel-efficient animals. Homo sapiens are high endurance kind of animal. It's pretty clear. Our native existence involved some difficulty in tracking down the food we needed to eat and a fair amount of physical exertion. I think we thrive in that context. We have devised a modern world where physical activity is completely optional and calories are unavoidable. Getting fat is the easiest thing in the world. I think the big question would be, how does anybody avoid it? Because we're adapted to eat tasty food when tasty food's available. It's always available. We're probably adapted to rest our muscles when we have the opportunity, because it used to be that mere survival took a lot of physical work. Well, we always have the opportunity to rest our muscles. And then there is the issue from altitude, where again the hand waving, you know, we've tried so many things to fix this. We haven't tried to fix this. We have not tried to fix epidemic obesity, not as a culture. Individuals have tried to fix it, but the individuals trying to fix obesity are swimming against the currents of our culture. So let's take a look at that. We've been told multiple times, most recently by Michael Moss, who's a Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative journalist, that the American food supply is willfully engineered by experts to be addictive or something very much like it. In other words, teams of PhDs with cutting-edge technology like functional MRI machines get all the funding they need from big food companies to do all the research required to figure out the formulations of nearly everything that goes in a bag, box, bottle, jar, or can, so that it maximally stimulates the appetite center in the human hypothalamus, maximizes the amount of eating you do before you feel full, maximizes the amount they can sell to us before we put our wallets away, and maximizes corporate profits at the expense of your health, my health, public health, our children's health. And this is hiding in plain sight. This was a New York Times Magazine cover story, The Extraordinary Science of Addictive Junk Food by Pulitzer Prize winner Michael Moss, New York Times Magazine cover story. And 10 years before that, the exact same tale in a 4-part expose in the Chicago Tribune. So the reality is, if you think about epidemic obesity as a sinking boat, we, all of us who would like to fix the problem, all of us who care about our own health, the health of our families, the health of our children, grandchildren, we're bailing the boat with pipettes. Yeah, we're trying. But the boat is being flooded with a fire hose by big food and big marketing, who see massive profit in the products that are fueling epidemic obesity. I don't think we've ever tried to fix it, not as a culture. One of the grave mistakes we make is conflating advice we've been given, whether it's about diet or anything else related to public health, and what we've actually done. When we first, for example, got advice about cutting dietary fat, it was based on the 7-country study, the work of Ansel Keys, many other studies, the American Heart Association, Framingham study. And the issue was most of the fat we were consuming was saturated fat. It was associated with heart disease. And at the time, low-fat junk food hadn't been invented yet. So the only way to eat a lower-fat diet was to give up high-fat foods like fatty meats and dairy, and eat more naturally low-fat foods like vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans, and lentils. If we had done that, we would have gotten exactly the effects the experts were hoping for. But we didn't. Big food stepped in, invented SnackWells and other low-fat junk food. We said, I guess that's what they meant, and we started eating that. And we started eating that mostly not instead of the high-fat food we were eating before, but in addition to. And then we act like it's a mystery that everybody isn't thin and healthy.